starting 5th in the T1 Chevy Corvette, the number 34 car, James Candelera. As we get ready for our second group to come down and take the start.
All right, 3 wide at the front to start this race. And, oh, man, that was something else. That was Joe Aquilante, Ronald Hugate, and George Winkler, 3 wide. I believe Hugate in the middle had the advantage, but going into 1, I have no clue. You're going to have to figure that out, Greg.
All right, Mike, as they come through turn 2, going into turn 3, we've got 2 wide. It is Aquilante in the lead, and then side by side, we've got the 123 of Hugh Stewart, and we've got George Winkler and his Mustang side by side. Stewart has gotten around Winkler, so it's Aquilante and Winkler, and then Hugate now goes around. He gets around, looks like James Henrahan, and then we've got Candelera, Vasquez, and Conway. As our lead pack now heads down the back straight, heading over towards turn 13, it is still up at the front, Michael Lewis, Vince Allegretta. They are nose to tail going into 13. Simon Gregg about 2 car lengths back. Then Joe Frieda currently running 4th in the 81 car, about 8 car lengths from there. He's dropping off the pace, as is Tom Ellis. But they should now be coming down the back straight and over to Andy.
And they're about halfway down the back straight, and it looks like the number 12 of Michael Lewis has about 4 car lengths over the number 40 of Vincent Allegretta, and Simon Gregg about 2 cars behind that. From 3rd to 4th, you're looking at about 10 to 15 cars, and they're starting to spread out on the back stretch. Up to you, Mike.
All right, coming down the front stretch, it is Michael Lewis with about a 3 car length lead over Allegretta. Simon Gregg go back about another 2 himself, and then you are right, then Joe Frieda. Jordan Bump up to 5th, Tom Ellis 6th, as those guys are pretty much packed together, but the front 3 have pulled away. Bernard Bump, that Valvoline car is up to 11, so he has gotten 1 spot, and that is it. Greg, second pack.
All right, our second pack should be coming down the back straight. Andy, why don't you pick them up?
All right, yep, they're about halfway down the back stretch, and looks like we got about a car length between the 32, make that 2 car length, the 32 and the 23, followed closely by the Mustang, the yellow Mustang, the 42. From there back, they're starting to spread out, and they should be coming up underneath the Michelin bridge to you, Mike.
All right, so it's Joe Aquilante who's the leader in T1 as he crosses the stripe. And then it's the 123 of Hugh Stewart. Ronald Hugate back up to 4th. He had fell to 5th in the T1 class. George Winkler 4th. James Candelera now running 5th as they come around turn 1, Greg.
All right, Mike, let's pick up our front pack, and it is reigning national champion in GT1, Michael Lewis at the point. He's got a 2.5, maybe 3 car length lead as they come out of turn 12, heading down the Flying Fortress straight. Then we've got Vince Allegretta, our winner from yesterday, and then another 2 car lengths back to Simon Gregg. So those 3 cars are certainly closing things down just a little bit, but then it is almost 30 car lengths back to Joe Frieda in the 81 car. He's running in 4th, and then Jordan Bump about another 10 car lengths back from there. But then we've got a huge battle going on for 2nd in GT2. It's Dave Tuati, Mark Bowden, and Tom Herb. Those 3 cars are all nose to tail. But let's try and pick up our second pack, the T1 pack, as I believe they are now coming through turn 8, Mike.
Well, they went through turn number 7, and I believe James Candelera made a great move on George Winkler going into 7 to take that spot. So move Candelera up to 4th in T1, Winkler dropping back to 5th.
Yep, let's take a look, Mike, now, because they're coming out of turn 11, heading down towards turn 12. It's Aquilante. He's got about a 5 car length lead back to our second place runner. And as you mentioned, that is Hugh Stewart in the 123 BMW. Then we've got Hugate, then we've got Winkler, and then we've got Candelera sitting right back behind those 2 cars. But it is definitely, with the exception of Joe Aquilante, awfully close at the front of the T1 pack. As that pack now should be coming down the back straight and over to Andy DeLay.
And we're picking up the back pack here, about halfway down the back straight. You are right, these the front 3, they're only separated here. Well, I guess Aquilante out by about 5 car lengths over that BMW in 2nd now. It looks like they've closed up on that number 42 yellow Mustang here for 3rd with the T34 and the red 71 here. They're trying to make a race of it up front, guys.
All right, I'll let you know right now the 10 car of Ben Johnson is just on pit road. Don't know if he's going to retire from the race or not, but issues with that car. Back up in the front, it's still Michael Lewis, Vincent Allegretta, Simon Gregg, your top 3. Greg, take the call.
All right, Mike, and our leaders now are coming through turn number 10, coming down towards the tower turn. And our leader, Michael Lewis, definitely has a heck of a lead. But now let's switch back over to T1. And things are closing down just a little bit in T1 as Aquilante is starting to come under some pressure from our second place runner. That, of course, being Hugh Stewart in the 123 BMW. Stewart a little bit later on the brakes, coming into turn number 3. Closing things down. They should be in your view now, Mike.
All right, let me try. There they are now, going down into turn number 7. Let me get the old binoculars out here. And there's Aquilante, has got a pretty good lead here over our second place driver in T1. That is Hugh Stewart. It's still Hugate Candelaria running the top 4 in that spot. Car number 77, also on pit road, that is Glenn Young. Greg?
All right, our overall leader, that is, of course, Michael Lewis in the Jaguar car, reigning national champion. He's opened things up just a little bit over Vince Allegretta. It's now about a 6-car length gap back to Allegretta. Then it is about another 5 back to Simon Gregg at the front of the field. Let's jump back over to the back straight over to Andy DeLay for our T1 race.
And the T1 race is heated up here. Got 33, excuse me, that is Allegretta, excuse me. Alquilante, Hugh Stewart, Ronald Hugate. They're in a nice pack coming down the back stretch. It looks like it's not as heated as it was last time around, but that could change at any moment, Mike.
All right, a quick note, Bobby Kennedy in the 11 car also on pit road, so attrition starting to happen here in Big Bore. These cars did not make the starting grid. The 111, Randy Kinsley, as Greg said he didn't think he'd make it, he didn't. Juan Vento, Jorge Nazario, James Hammond, Milton Grant, Pedro Rodriguez, Tim Myers, and Phil Lasco. So we have 47 cars that started the race, Greg.
All right, Mike, I'm going to try and jump back a little bit. They've just come through underneath the bridges. I'm going to try and pick up the GT2 race. Jordan Buck starting to walk away in the number 8 car. But I just saw the 68 of Tuati, 46 Porsche of Bowden, and then also the 16 of Tom Herb. Those 3 cars all in a row battling it out, and they are now actually coming down into turn number 12, hard under braking. And it's the 2 Porsches, and actually it's 3 Porsches in a row. And as they come through here onto the Flying Fortune straight, it is the 68 of Tuati, it's Mark Bowden in the 46, and Tom Herb. All 3 in a row. That is the battle for second place in GT2. They've just now entered turn 13, heading into turn 14. Tuati and Bowden have opened up a little bit of a gap, maybe a car length and a half over Herb, but those 3 Porsches now coming onto the back straight and over to Andy DeLay.
And I just had the leaders of the GT1 class go past me here. Michael Lewis and Vincent Allegretta, Simon Gregg, all are in their own zip code, and they have really pulled away from that 81 of Joseph Frieda. And things are really spread out here right now with a lot of car lengths between all the cars here, Mike.
Oh, yeah, they are, and I can see that on the timing board. You got Lewis with a 3-second lead over Allegretta. He's got a 3.5-second lead over Gregg in that GT1 race. Attention to the pit and paddock, attention to the pit and paddock. First call to the grid for race group 3, Spec Racer Ford 3. This is your first call to the grid. Race group number 3, Spec Racer Ford 3, first call to the grid. Greg?
All right, Mike, let's jump in. Coming into turn 3, that battle for second in GT2. Heating up, it is the 68 of Tuati, the 46 of Bowden. Bowden comes down the inside of Tuati, tries to get the pass done, and they are now side by side coming into the bridge and over to you.
All right, I see them now, and they're not done yet, as they are still side by side going down that stretch, going down to the Mobile One Bridge. No change in position yet, but it is a 3-car battle. They go around the corner, hit that stretch, and now they're no longer side by side. They are now nose to tail. 3 cars with a car length in between them going down towards the hangar. No change in positions there, Greg, from what you have.
All right, Mike, and as they come out of the hangar turn, heading down to turn number 12, it is still those 3 Porsches. And once again, it looks like the fall line Porsche, the 46 of Mark Bowden, tries to come under David's body. Cannot get done. And as they come through, and yes, actually, now we have a change of position. Our new second place runner in GT2 is the 46 car of Mark Bowden. Bowden has gotten around Tuati. Tom Herb in the fall line number 16 blue and white car is sitting only about a half a car length back. So those 3 Porsches all running in lockstep now, hard under the brakes, going into 13 over to 14. And this really, gentlemen, is the race of the session as those three cars go along. This is the battle for second. GT2s are coming onto the back straight and over to Andy DeLay.
And as I catch this GT2 race coming onto the back straight, yes, this is the tightest race of the bunch. And you got about a car length between Bowden and Twatty here coming into turn 17. And let me tell you, man, that number 16 of Herb, he's not far behind either. This is a 1-2-3 race that's going to come down to the line, guys.
All right, I'm waiting for him to come down in front, stretching into my view now. It should be Bowden, and there he goes in that 46 car. It's Mark Bowden with David Tuati right behind him, Thomas Herb again. Like Andy said, about a car length back. So the three of them going into turn one and back over to Greg.
All right, as they now come through the little kink at turn two, heading into three, hard under the brakes. It is Bowden. You can see how hard Bowden and Tuati are getting on the brakes at the rear end of the car. Both their cars moving around quite a bit, dancing around, but it is still Bowden and Tuati. And then we've got in third, and then we've got our next car in line, Tom Herb, in the blue and white number 16. Only a half a car length back from there. So as they come into three, things compress down. Where we see things stretch out even just a little bit is after the bridge coming back into Mike's view now.
All right, going around turn number 7. It's still lockstep with Bowden, Tuati. Right behind them is our third place driver, and that is Greg.
Actually, he's in fourth. This is the battle.
Okay, the battle for second, right. Okay, as they head down the backstretch, I thought for a minute there Tuati was going to try to pull the same thing Bowden did and take the outside line and try to make a pass around him. Did not do it, stayed in line. They are now coming back to you.
All right, as they now come through turn 10, and Mark Bowden is stretching things out over Tuati and Tom Herb. Herb and Tuati nose to tail as they come through turn 12 onto the flying forward straight. But the battle between those two cars allowed Mark Bowden to move away just a little bit. About 3 car lengths separates the second place runner Bowden from third and fourth. So the battle now is for the last step on the podium in GT2 as they round turns 13, heading into 14. Something else that's heating up just a bit is our GT1 race. Vince Algretta starting to make up some ground on Michael Lewis as he's working our way through traffic. But that GT2 race should be coming down the back straight and over Andy DeLay.
And they are. They're about halfway down the back stretch, and they're running hard up into this braking area here in turn 17. And we got the number 46 of Mark Bowden. He's got about 2 lengths on David Tuati. Herb, he's about 2 lengths back after that. So these guys are starting to spread it out a little bit, but they may be conserving a little bit for the last few laps, guys.
All right, we are down. We have 8 laps to go here, 21 minutes. I have a feeling if it stays like this, it's going to be a lap race, and that's it. That's how it's going to get decided. Right now, I'm waiting for Mark Bowden to come down the front stretch here and see.
I got him coming to me right now, Mike. And as they come to turn 3, Tuati has gotten right back up to the rear bumper of Mark Bowden. And those 2 cars now are coming through turn 5 with Thomas Herb only about 2 car lengths back. They are coming under the bridge now and back over to you.
All right, that's about it. About a car length, maybe a car length and a half advantage for Bowden as they head down to turn 7. And there's been a lot of passing down in there. And let's see if Bowden can hold on to the spot. He does. It's about a half a car length now, but he hits the accelerator, pulls up to a car length separation, and it looks like our third place driver in that bunch, and that would be Thomas Herb is the loser. He's about 3 car lengths behind Tuati now as they head down into the hangar turn, Greg.
All right, Mike, as they come into the hangar turn, just notice the number 91 Corvette must have some hood pin issues. Hood is bent up considerably. I have a feeling they should be coming into the pits pretty soon. But now coming over to turn 12, it is Mark Bowden, then Dave Tuati, and then Tom Herb. Those 3 cars all separated by only about a car length as they come out of turn 12 onto the Flying Fortress straight, down the slight pink in that back straight and over to turn 13. Under braking, Tuati closes up. He's now right on the rear bumper of Mark Bowden, but it looks like Bowden's car has just a little bit more grunt than Tuati's coming out of the corners, but they now are coming onto the back straight and over to Andy DeLay.
And it's a great battle down the back straight right now. Let's see, it looks like these guys are closing up nose to tail under the braking area. It looks like, yeah, it's going to be Tuati making a move to the outside of Bowden as they're 2x2 going underneath the auto bridge, and it looks like Bowden may have taken that on the inside. They're going to be coming to you, Mike.
All right, let's keep an eye out for it here as they come down the front stretch. It is a 68-46, so it's David Twatty who's now in the lead at GT2, actually in second at GT2. Mark Bowden is in third, and Thomas Herb right back there with those two guys. So it's a three-car battle again between Bowden, Twatty, and Herb. Greg?
All right, Mike, and as they come into Bowden to the inside, driver's left. We got Twatty to the outside. We have a little bit of contact over there. May have been contact coming through 4. They are still side by side coming through 5, with Tom Herb wondering where he can go because he's got nowhere to go. As they come under the bridge, looks like Bowden has taken the point back, and back over to you.
All right, yes he has. He's got about a car length lead now over Twatty, but it looks like Herb now has got his sights set on Twatty going into turn number 7 as they all are coming up on some slower traffic. Bowden goes way wide through 7. That allows Twatty to come right back up on his rear bumper because they accelerate away. Bowden pulls out to a car length lead. That slower traffic moves over to driver's left to get out of the way. The odd man out of this is actually Herb, as he is now about 3 car lengths behind Twatty as they go down to the hangar turn.
All right, and as they come down into the hangar turn, let's take a look and see where they stand. It is Twatty and, it is Bowden and Twatty, and then Herb. They're coming up on some slower traffic, which is pulled all the way out to the outside. Great gentlemanly move there by the 177 car. Let all 3 by, but as he did, both Bowden and Twatty were able to scoot on by a little bit more easily than Tom Herb. Herb is maybe 2.5 car lengths back, whereas Twatty right on the bumper of Mark Bowden as they come through turn 14 now, heading onto the back straight. Without a doubt, the best race of the session, whereas our leaders have really started to walk away, and our GT2 leader, Jordan Buff, has really walked away as these 3 Porsches have started the battle. Andy, over to you.
And we have a spin. Looks like the number 51 Corvette has spun in the middle of the turn. That puts Bowden on the brakes here. And Twatty lets everybody close up their nose to tail as that 51 gets it back around and up underneath the auto bridge. Mike, there should be a great race coming to you.
Oh, there sure is. They just went by right now, and it's still Bowden with about a half a car length lead over Twatty. Go back about another car length, and that's where you get to Thomas Herb. Michael Lewis, though, up in the front is pulling away from Allegretta. He's been able to maneuver through the traffic a lot faster. We are 6 laps to go here at Sebring. Greg?
All right, and now coming into turn 3, Twatty has retaken second position from Mark Bowden. Those 2 Porsches starting to come under a lot of slower traffic and have really had to change up their lines in order to get through. And Twatty took advantage of Bowden that time with the inside move that Bowden made the last time. They're under the bridge and coming to you.
And Twatty is your new leader, but now Bowden going side by side to the outside going into 7. He decides better of it, drops back to the outside now going down that backstretch. There's a slower car right in front of him, which is blocking those guys. And he moves over to driver's right, lets Twatty by, lets Bowden by, but now Thomas Herb right back in there about a car length back. Greg?
All right, now let's take a look now. We might want to move up a little bit. I'm also noticing we've got a battle heating up a bit, and I'll try and track them down and see if we can place this up there. The battle for second in T1 between James Candelaria and Hugh Stewart. But we'll check that out in a few moments. That battle for second in GT2, though, was Dave Twatty and Mark Bowden. They now come through turn 12 and onto the line point straight and caught up in a lot of, I'm trying to see where Tom Herb is. Tom Herb just now getting out of turn number 12. Looked like he was, don't know if he was held up or if he just had some issues, but he is now completely out of that battle.
Greg, I think we have a problem with our race leader. It looks like the number 12 is way underpowered going down around turn number 7. He's doing about 10 miles an hour going up that backstretch. So we have a little bit of an issue here now as our race leader is just barely crawling down the backstretch.
Yeah, I'm getting word that they are holding the white flag out for car 12 for the Jaguar XKR, and I'm still waiting for him to come around, but I would suspect that he is not going to be our leader for very much longer.
Nope.
Vince Allegretta had former leader Michael Lewis, and he is now on back straight, heading down in the number 40 white Chevy Corvette. As you mentioned, we now have a new leader and a new second place runner. That is Simon Gregg in the 59 Chevy Corvette, the white and red car, white, blue, and red, who has just now gotten onto the back straight himself. He is about 40 car lengths back from our leader, Alex.
And we got a big wreck in here on turn 17. We have the 94 Porsche got right up underneath a white 97, which is a Chevy Camaro. And both cars go around, and I do believe we're going to have a corner caution for this incident.
Attention to the pit and paddock, attention to the pit and paddock. Second call to the grid for race group number 3, Spec Racer Ford 3. This is your second call to the grid. Spec Racer Ford 3, second call to the grid. Now, Michael Lewis, Greg, he did pull off up there right before the hangar turn, so he is off the track and back off the racing area, so he is out of the way up there, out of harm's way. Shouldn't have any problem in that area.
All right, I'm getting word, as Andy mentioned, the 97, that is Lance Alsick, is GT2 Chevy Camaro, and Connor Flynn in the number 94 GT2 Sportsman 997. So that was a battle for position in GT2. We just now also have a car that's gone off wide on the exit of turn 4 of turn 5. Heading to the grid.
All right, 94 and 97 are on pit road right now, Greg.
All right, so they have made their way back. And our overall leader now heading to turn 7. We're trying to pick up that GT2 race in just a moment here. We can find the T1 race as well. But we've got T1 leader Aquilante. And here comes our battle for second in T1 now between Candlelit area 34 Corvette and then Hugh Stewart in the 23 BMW. Those two cars, the blue Corvette, the white BMW, they are now coming to the bridge about a half a car length separately. So that's the battle for second one, and over to you.
All right, the 13 car of, I just had that here. Gross, he was under power here going under the bridge, kind of picked it back up, but he's still not up to full song. So another issue there, as it looks like attrition is going to take another bite out of the chunk out of the group here. Looking at GT2, it's still Twatty, Bowden, and now John Levy got around Thomas Herb, so that's going to leave that race for Twatty and Bowden to figure out as we move on. Greg?
All right, let's pick up that battle for second in T1 between James Candelaria and Hugh Stewart. They have been nose to tail the last number of laps, and as they come out of the tower turn, heading towards turn 12 and the Flying Fortress straight, only a half a car length separates the blue Corvette, the number 34, and the white BMW. That is the number 123 of Hugh Stewart. And as they come down the back straight, the Corvette has the legs. He stretches things out to about 2 car lengths. But as we've seen, Hugh Stewart late on the brake gets right back up to the bumper of the Corvette. They are now going into turn number 14. So things are closing down there, and I'll try and pick up that break with the pointers in a moment. But that battle for T1 has been going for a number of laps. The 34 and the 123s are coming down the back straight. No Andy to lay down.
And as they come down the back straight, everyone's nose to tail here. They're approaching the braking zone. Everyone hard on the brakes. And it looks like we got about the number 34 Corvette. And everyone's only about not even a car length. It looks like they're trying to close up on that 34 to make it a really close race coming under the Sebring Michelin pedestrian bridge to you, Mike.
All right, a little side note here. The 91 is Scott Watson sitting on pit road right in front of me, minus a hood. So anybody see a hood out there, it belongs to the 91 car.
Yeah, that's the car I mentioned earlier that looked like it had some hood pin problems. So
not anymore.
So, yeah, not anymore. All right, so the GT2 race at Twatty and Bowden should be coming to Andy now.
Yeah, they just passed me to 68 and to 46 or no to tail. It looks like they closed that race up very tight coming into the braking area of 17. And Mike, they should be right in front of you now.
Okay, they just went by, and Twatty's got about a half a car length lead over Bowden as they are just humming down that front stretch, down around turn 1 and back over to Greg, and that's where the action is.
All right, Mike, and as they come out of turn 1 now, a little pink to turn number 2, they're coming up on some slower traffic on the 51 car, and we had Twatty drivers right in 68. Bowden tries to come down the inside, but not quite close enough to get it done. He's half a car length back as they go through 4 and now through 5, but they are once again nose to tail as they come under the bridge and over to Mike.
All right, it's still Bowden now. Looks like he's going to try to make a move. Driver's left, decides better of it, stays back in line, about a half a car length back under the Volvo 1 bridge, down into turn number 7. They both lock him up, and Bowden goes on the inside, makes the move on Twatty, takes the spot. Twatty cannot pull the over-under, so Bowden is now back in front there, but Twatty's not giving up as they go down that back stretch. It's a drag race. And Greg, it looks like Twatty is about a half a car length or a quarter car length behind Bowden going into the hangar turn.
Yeah, and as they come into the hangar turn, towards turn 10, now through turn 11, it is Bowden and it is Twatty. Twatty drops back just a little bit. He's now 2.5 car lengths back, closes things down a little bit on the brake, maybe a car length and a half as they come onto the flying fortress straight. And as they come onto the straight, 68 car, which appears to be the fastest car in a straight line, pulls right back up under the wing of Bowden's car, the number 46 car. They go into 13, nose to tail, and then they are come onto the back straight. But we are now only about 2 laps left to go. The big time is definitely running out in this battle. They're coming down the back straight.
Yeah, definitely the best race we got going here. As they come down the back stretch, it looks like, I'll tell you here just 1 second here, it looks like they are side by side actually. Nope, that looks like that number 46 of Bowden's going to get the braking coming into turn 17, and it looks like Twatty tries to pull up on a crossover move here up underneath the pedestrian bridge. To you, Mike.
All right, let's see how it shakes out coming down the front stretch here. It is still Bowden now as the 127 car, slower car on driver's left, kind of kept Twatty from doing anything with it, so that's how it's going to be. It's still going to be Bowden and Twatty, about a car length separation going into one. Gentlemen, the next time Mr. Allegretta, our race leader, comes by, we will see the white flag, so give me a call if you see that 40 car.
Well, he should be coming by you in just a few moments, going through, I think it's going through 17 now. That battle between Bowden and Twatty, still nose to tail. Those two cars have gotten through some of the slower traffic as they come under the bridge, but I'm also looking at that battle in T1 for a second, because we had the 34 car and the 123 of Stewart. They were battling out nose to tail. They are still nose to tail now, coming through turn number 10 onto the back straight, or probably onto the flying fortress straight. Actually, the 34 car of Candelaria has opened things up just a little bit on Hugh Stewart. But our overall leader now is the number 40 car. That is Vince Allegretta. He is now coming through turn number 3 and turn number 4 on this, the very last lap.
Yeah, Greg, he made a great move. He had to split 2 slower cars right at the start-finish line to get the white flag. But our race leader now, like Greg just mentioned, on the last lap here at Sebring.
All right, Mike, now coming out of turn 12 onto the flying 40 straight. We've got that battle in GT2. And as they come through, it is Bowden and Twatty have split 3 cars. Bowden goes 2 wheels off in the dirt, trying to get around some slower traffic through the flying fortress. What is not a straight where he went through. He manages to hold on to his position over Twatty. He's got about a 2.5, maybe 3 car length lead now as they go into 13 and 14. They are coming onto the back straight, just as our overall leader, the number 4, Vince Allegretta, is coming onto the flying fortress straight. Over to you, Andy.
All right, we got that battle coming down the back stretch, and they're about halfway down, approaching that braking area. I tell you, this is about a car length still between these two guys as they make a break for the turn 17, and it's anyone right now for you, Mike.
All right, they just went by the start-finish line, about a car length separating them, and it is still Mark Bowden over David Twatty. Now the 40 car, Vincent Allegretta, should be coming down the back stretch to you, Andy.
And we have Allegretta. He is going through 17 right now, and he will be approaching you here in just a second to take the checkered flag in this event.
All right.
The overall win.
So here, Vincent Allegretta, who got some luck with Michael Lewis's car, had an issue. He will get the checkered flag as he crosses the start-finish line. He wins the race. He is our GT1 winner. It looks like Simon Gregg is going to come in second, Joseph Frieda third, but let's pick up that Twatty and Bowden battle, Greg.
Well, actually, I'm going to pick up another race because that Twatty and Bowden race, it is done. Twatty got caught up in traffic. Bowden has about a 25 car length lead over Twatty right now on his way to the second place in BT2. But in T1 now, the battle for second there between James Candelaria, the number 34 Corvette, and Hugh Stewart. About 4 car lengths separate them as they come out of turn 12 onto the flying fortress straight. It looked like Stewart had a chance coming into turn 3. He was actually side by side with Candelaria, looking for the pass, could not get it done, and that Corvette has just opened things up. But they are now coming down through 13 and 14. The blue 34 Corvette, the white 123 BMW Candelaria. They're coming onto the back straight. for the very last time and over to Andy the left.
And I'm watching that battle right now as they accelerate down this long back stretch here at Sebring. And it looks like about a car length between these two as they approach us in the 17. No one's going to win or lose anything as they break into the sunset turn and pass up underneath the big vehicle bridge. They'll be approaching you, Mike.
All right, there goes the 32, Joe Aquilante. He wins it. The 34 right behind him, and that will be James Candelaria. So it's going to be Aquilante, Candelaria, and Harry Hinkle in that. Well, I'm sorry, Hinkle is